So yeah, I'm gonna get into the internals now. Of course, release the magazine, cock it, and lower the camera a bit. Now this thing, like most AKs out there, it's not a big surprise. This thing, you know, disassembles, field strips just like a real AK. Off comes the dust cover. That's what it looks like from the inside. Okay, like any GHK AK owner, you know, you basically know what it looks like from the inside. But there's some features in this AKM that I found pretty interesting. And the first thing is the return spring guide rod. It's modeled after a real AK's guide rod, which is the dual rod system. Some I know some AKs out there it's got the plunger type guide rod, but this one's got the dual rod, so it's pretty cool. And there's the recoil buffer, and this little sponge I got in there, that's an aftermarket piece I just put up there. But I'll let you know what's that for later. And goes the recoil buffer, and out comes the bolt. And this time, actually, if you check out old GHK AK rifles, their bolt is only that big. It's only like that. But this time, for the AKM, they made the bolt carrier. I mean, sorry, there's a bolt carrier. They made the bolt carrier full size, which is very nice, a mock gas tube thing. Okay, and just like a real AK would have, the bolt would be right here, but instead of the rolling bolt, you got your gas device. I don't know how you call this, but very nice bolt carrier. Right? And I believe because of this full-size bolt carrier, it really helps increase the recoil on this thing, which is pretty big. Take off the foregrip now. There you go. That's the foregrip, the top part. I got a piece of metal here to support the gas tube, I guess. And take out the lower foregrip. And actually, before you do that, you got to take out this cleaning rod. There you have it. The lower foregrip. Very nice wood. And one thing I found out about this AK is that, and I found very interesting, is the trigger group mechanism that GHK, and I believe they did this in their previous AK models as well, but for people who does not own a GHK gas blowback, it's good to know that their trigger mechanism, their trigger group, is actually modeled after a real AK. It pretty much operates like a real AK. So there you see, right now I have it on fully automatic, and you can see right here that's the sear, and that's the disconnector, just like a real one, just like a real AK. And right now it's on fully automatic. The disconnector is disengaged right now. It's fully automatic. Put it on semi-automatic, and the disconnector is engaged, and it will move with the rest of the trigger group. I'm going to show you how this works. So when you cock the rifle, the hammer gets pulled back, and it is caught by the sear. And when right now it's in full automatic mode, so you pull the trigger, releases the hammer hits the bolt fires the round, and the round pushes the bolt back. And now, right now, the hammer is again caught in the sear, but I got my finger on the trigger and it's on photo. It'll release the hammer again when the bolt is forward because the sear is open. Alright, now put it on semi-automatic. Cock the rifle first, you fire, keep your finger on the trigger, the bolt comes back, and this time it is caught in the disconnector. The bolt goes forward because of the return spring, and right now I got my finger on the trigger and the hammer is now caught on the disconnector, and when I release the trigger, the disconnector will reset the hammer, making it, and now it's caught by the sear, and I can pull the trigger again and it will release the hammer. And again, it's pretty much like a real AK. Very cool. And especially for people like me who live in a country where we're not allowed to have real guns, it's actually pretty cool to have, you know. Gives us a experience of having a real AK legally. Alright, and then put it back together. Foregrip. Oh shit, something just fell out. It's on there. Oh, one thing I noticed when I got this AK, and I don't think it's a big problem, but this part moves a little bit. I don't think that's a problem. I mean, you can always put real steel AK foregrips on there and maybe it will fit even nicer. It goes on the top half. Alright. And in goes the bolt and the bolt carrier. Yep. In goes the buffer. Now, about the recoil buffer. The recoil buffer goes in here and it just absorbs the recoil, I guess. Now, one thing I noticed when I got this rifle is, yes, there is one thing that rattles in the gun that I did not mention while I was showing you the build of the gun, is this thing, the recoil buffer. You can actually hear that when you get this gun, and if you like move it side to side. And you know, I didn't like that, so I got a little bit of a sponge, like what you use to clean dishes. Just put it in there. So the recoil buffer can still move, but it won't rattle. Just stick it in there like that, and it won't be rattling anymore. Guide rod and the return spring. Top cover. I know this is not a real firearm, but I still like to do a function check. So, put it on semi-automatic. Cock the rifle. Fire. Keep the trigger down. Cock it again. Release. Trigger resets. Fires again. Cock it again. Put it on safe. The safe does work. Release the hammer. And there you have it. The GHK AKM. Thanks for watching.